Are we live?
Yes, sir.
What's up, Fetchers of America? Good evening. Sorry, I did not get this video to you sooner today. So a couple of things. I got Marcus and Belle behind the camera. They're gonna talk, interact, because I just want this to be fun for you. I dressed up for you too. I shaved, I didn't. I showered, I didn't. I brushed my teeth, I didn't. So we're all good. I don't have a mask on. This is awesome. I have a hat on. I'm in cash clothes, so this is kind of fun. Okay, I want to review some things for the test. I want to be really efficient for you. All right, guys? So the first thing I'm going to do is I did send out an email to all of you. Now, please listen to this. If you're watching this video, we're going to make this efficient. We're going to go over some problems that are on the test to help you be that much more effective on the test. You don't need a whole lot of help on this, but you do need to do the following things. So we're going to go over some problems. We're going to also talk about the visual chart briefly. And I just want to make sure you're good to go. I apologize that I wasn't with you today, but to appease, to make up the difference for that, I have extended the test. What was supposed to be done by midnight Saturday, we now know is going to need to be done by midnight Monday. So, because we didn't count Sunday, we figured Sabbath day. And we extended the retakes on it. So, got plenty of time. We will not review for the test on Monday. This is it right now. So, it was optional to come today, and then I'm providing this video. If you choose not to watch this, so be it, but I just want you to know what we're going to do. Here we go. So, I sent out an announcement at the end of class on Wednesday. Your first test is in Canvas. So, first of all, we talked about you got to be honest, okay? And you need to make that commitment that you do not cheat. This exam, it said, would be open until 11:59 p.m. this Saturday, but we extended that to Monday, January 25th. I almost said October. I have no idea why. You must complete the visual chart and the review in blue assignment prior to taking the exam. You should give yourself about 2 hours to take the test. Okay, it's highly doubtful anybody's going to need that much time, but 2 hours will keep you from being stressed out. You have unlimited time to take the test in this time period, but you would give yourself 2 hours to take it. So you got to take it in one sitting. You can't sit down, start the test, take off, for a couple hours, come back. You sit down, you're committed to doing it. You got to pretend like you're in a testing center, but right in your own world, right? You got to exhibit the highest standards of integrity as we discussed in class. No friends, no internet connections or searches, no notes, only a scientific calculator, not a graphing calculator. I don't need to outline all the ways that you could cheat. You know how to be honest and have integrity. It is a multiple choice test. There's 25 questions. The other thing we said is you cannot miss tests in class. If you miss a test in this class, you fail the test and you hence fail the course. So you've got a 3-4 day period to take every test. We will talk about test retakes when you come back, okay? We're not going to address that right now. We'll talk about that on Monday in class. But prior to retaking any test, you do need to read the syllabus and understand your commitments that you need to fulfill before retaking the test. Okay, that's just kind of the ins and outs. Let's talk about your visual chart, okay, your visual chart. So there was an example of the visual chart, and if you didn't look it up in Canvas, the assignment for the visual chart, and so there was a picture of it. Again, we went over this in class, but you do need to have your 6 boxes, and again, you need to cover each section that we went over. R1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We talked about this. You need to include all of your notes from class from each section. You need to have examples, and not just ones we did in class. You need to make this as if it really was a cheat sheet. Again, I ask you, can you use this on the test? Heck no. I almost swore. No, absolutely not. You cannot use this on the test, okay? That would be cheating. But you need to make it as if you were able to use it. And if you were able to use it, you would put examples from the homework that were hard to do, okay? I'm going to give you some really cool things tonight to practice that will help you on the test. You might want to put them on your visual chart. I know it was due today, but you need to make a really good visual chart regardless of when it's due. And so you'll be good to go. So Notes, stuff from your notes, examples, cheat sheet, make it like a cheat sheet. You got to be really thorough and organized, okay? We went through an example. We took this R5 box, and so we magnified it like if we took this box right here, and we just said, hey, there's R5. And in R5, we talked about exponents and the order of operations. Now, I know I'm writing kind of quick and sloppy, but I would write the 1, 2, 3, 4 steps to the O of O, order of operations, parentheses, exponents, multiply or divide, add or subtract. And then we talked about that big upside down pyramid, that one big example we did, and I would have some other examples, okay, in here that you do and write it all out. And then we talked about the 3 E's of exponents. All of this we did in class on Wednesday, so we should be good to go on this, all right? I'm going to go ahead and have Belle and Marcus pause this for just a second. We'll be right back. Okay, so on the test is going to follow the order with which you learned, within which you learned the concepts. So we're going to have questions from R1, then R2, then R3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay. So the first questions on the test will be directly from section R1, and there's going to be some LCM and prime factorization, problems on there. They might give you a big number like 130. And in fact, they might ask you to prime factorize this, okay? So we may take something like this and say, all right, what are 2 numbers when multiplied together make 130? Well, we know it's divisible by 10. And so we can say, well, that's 13 times 10. Is 13 prime? Yes, it was. We would circle 13. We know 13 is prime because we memorized the first 10 prime numbers. Okay, we wrote that down, and that should be in your notes. It should be on your visual chart. 2 numbers when multiplied together, they make 10. So remember, we circle primes, repeat the process for non-prime. So we have 2 times 5 is 2 prime. Yes. Is 5 prime? Yes. All of our stems end in circles, so we have 2 times 5 times 13. There's the prime factorization of 130. That one's kind of an easy one, okay? Maybe they give you something like 128, okay? Well, now it gets a little more challenging, okay? This is an even number. Because it's an even number, you know it's divisible by 2. So you whip out your calculator, because you can use a calculator on the test, and you say, okay, 2 goes into this 2 times, and half of 128 is 64, right? 64, okay? Now, you might remember your times tables. You might remember 8 times 8 makes 64, but the bottom line is, again, 64 is divisible by 2. So we'll circle 2, repeat 64, so we have 2 times 32, right? So we're circling the 2, repeat. That's also an even number. 2 times 16. Again, we can look this up on a calculator, circle the 2, 16. 2 times 8, circle the 2. 2 times 4, circle the 2. 2 times 2, wow. Holy fetching Hannah. I mean, this prime factorizes out to a whole crap load of 2s, okay? So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, okay? So we have 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times, and this just sounds ridiculous, doesn't it? What's another way to write that, okay? Well, we could say 2 to the 7th, right, in exponential form. But the reality is when you're prime factorizing, they're going to leave it all expanded out like this. They're not going to probably write that this is 2 to the 7th. This would be the way they write it. But they're not going to do both. There's only one correct answer on a multiple choice test, okay? So I'm going to erase this problem. Okay, take a quick look at that. The nice thing about a video, you can go back if you want to look at it, and you're good to go, okay? So you're going to be given a problem, a big number like this, big number. And that one like 128, I could see them doing that more than they would do 130. And then they're going to ask you to find the least common multiple. And they're going to ask you to find the least common multiple of, a few numbers. And so maybe they'll have like 16, 30, and 54. 16, 30, and 54. So again, I'm not going to review every problem on the test. That's your job. Okay, I'm reviewing a couple of things that it's been a little while since we've done them. You may be a little rusty on them, but remember, when we find the LCM, we prime factorize each number. So there's 3 problems to begin the test that are all about prime factorization and LCMs. Okay, these 2 concepts right here. So we're going to have to prime factorize all three of these, okay? Let's do this one quick. 2 times 8, circle the 2, repeat. 2 times 4, circle the 2, repeat. 2 times 2, circle, circle. We have 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. Okay, 30. 3 times 10. 3 is prime. Repeat. 2 times 5. Circle, circle. I have 2 times 3 times 5. Okay, I'm going fast because you know how to do this, okay? 54, okay? What are our times tables, right? Is 6 times 9 54? Do you remember that? Is 6 times 9 54? What do you think?
Yes.
Yes.
Had to check those fingers.
Marcus looked at his hands. I don't know. He must have wrote it on his hands like a cheat sheet here. Good job, Marcus. Okay. So 6 and 9. 6 and 9 make 54. We learned our times tables. If not, you could recognize that's divisible by 2. Okay? It's divisible by 2 because it's even, and that you'd have 2 times 27. You could break it down that way. In fact, let's go ahead and let's do that. Let's just say 2 times 27. Okay, 2 is prime, circle it. Okay, 27, 3 times 9. 3 is prime, okay, and 3 times 3, circle, circle. So we end up with 2 times 3 times 3 times 3. Now, I want you guys to remember, now it's time for the competition. And some of you, when we learned this concept, you struggled a little bit with the competition. You were like, what are you talking about, brother? So let's rewrite this. We have 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. That makes 16. We have 2 times 3, and we could say times 5. And I kind of wrote this out here on purpose. And then we have 2 times 3 times 3 times 3, okay? And so here's what's up. In the first number, we have 4 2s. Here we have 1, here we have 1. So 4 wins, so we count it 4 times. We have 0 3s, 1 3, and 3 3s. So 3 3s is the most 3s, so that wins. We have 0 5s, 1 5, and 0 5, so 1 time wins. So then we have all of these that constitute our LCM. We have to multiply it out. So I'm going to look for Belle, if you can help me here. I just want you to check our math, make sure we're not like totally going moronical here. 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8, times 2 is 16. 16 times 3 is 48. 48 times 3, okay? 48 times 3 is going to be 136.
48 times 3?
Uh-huh.
It is 144.
Oh, 144. See, Brother Rich jacked it up. And 144 times 3, go ahead.
432.
And 432 times 5.
2,160.
So 2,160 when we count all of these up. 2,160 would be the LCM. So folks, I'm going to tell you something. I just checked our answers, and guess what? We got it right. Okay? So listen, that's a big fetching number. And so if you're doing this on the test and you're like, whoa, that's too big, I must do it wrong. No, you did it right, okay? Okay, we're going to pause again and do one more problem together. Let's go. Okay, so sometimes when test makers feel like material is pretty straightforward, that's a nice way of saying that they believe it's easy, right? They want to see if you can use these concepts in a more real world application, okay? So there are a few problems on the test that do this. And my only concern with problems like this is that if you've never done problems like these on the homework, I don't think it's always fair to test you with these kind of problems. So I like to prepare you for them if they are going to come up. And so here's one that, you know, if you don't watch this video, you're not listening to me, so you don't even know what the fetch I'm talking about. But, you know, you don't watch these videos. So I just want you to know, whenever I make something optional for the class, I always make it worth your time. So if you spend the time watching this, it'll help you get a problem right or two on the test that you otherwise might struggle with. So there's a problem on the test. It's like just a few problems in, and there'll be different stories, okay? But this is one example of one, okay? This is kind of interesting. I've always thought the name Sylvia was a girl's name, okay? This could be, you know, something that I'm missing in, you know, the Latino culture, but they refer to Sylvia as a he eventually in this. So here we go. Sylvia has built a mechanical model solar system with 3 balls representing planets at the end of rods. Okay, so I'm going to have Marcus. He's going to throw something in front of you that kind of shows, you know, kind of a little video of a solar system. So he's showing you something here. Check this out. Is it good, Marcus?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, looks
All right,
good.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Okay. It's just something of that nature. So you have to think about the center of this model would be like the sun. And there could be a rod here with one planet and a rod here with another planet and a rod here with another planet. And it has a little motor it's hooked up to. And when you turn it on, press that button and it's on, these start rotating around. And they spin around like this. And it's showing how planets, orbit the sun, okay? And, the bottom line is, and this is the thing, this is true of everything in life, okay? Is that you really don't have to understand any of this crap. You don't have to understand the solar system or mechanical models or engineering. You have to understand what's the concept here, okay? So what they're telling you is that the planets are all lined up when he turns on the motor. He, she, what the fetch? I don't know. Anyways, I'll let you guys debate this at home, okay? But that means that, everything is the same when they line up. But this is going at some pace. This is going at a faster pace. This is going at a faster pace. And so when will they all line up again? I want you to think about this for just a second, but that's kind of like if I tell you that, I have the numbers, 3, 5, and 8, okay? And I'm telling you that we start off with 3 and 5 and 8, and so we have 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, okay? Well, check it out. 5, 10, 15, they're lined up right now. 15 means they are the same, okay? Well, 16, right? 8 times 3 is 24. Okay, so you're going to be kind of hard-pressed to find the moment at which all 3 of these line up. So I'm going to give you another example here, okay? We're going to do this. This will make it even easier. So let's take 3 numbers like 4, 6, and 8, okay? So 4 times 2 is 8, times 3 is 12, times 4 is 16, times 5 is 20, times 6 is 24. Okay, so look at this. 6, 12, those 2 are lined up. 18, 24. 8 times 2 is 16. 8 times 3 is 24. So check this out. Right now, these 3 numbers are all aligned with each other because they all, have a common multiple of 24. That's like all the planets starting at the same point in this model. Okay? So really what you have to understand is, even if you don't understand planets or anything, this is an LCM problem. They're telling you they have 3 numbers, 20, 28, and 34. And they want to know when these 3 numbers are going to line up with each other. Okay? So right now, they all lined up at this 24 mark. Okay, these 3 numbers, 4, 6, and 8, different than those 3 numbers. I'm not trying to confuse you, to show you. Now, if we kept taking this out, they would realign themselves again, okay, probably at 48. Okay, this is just because I'm the math teacher. But if we think about this, 4 times 6 is 24, 4 times 7 is 28, 4 times 8 is 32, 4 times 9 is 36, 4 times 10 is 40, 4 times 11 is 44. 4 times 12 is 48, okay? 6 times, well, here, we'll do 8. So 8 times 3, 8 times 4 is 32, all right? Okay, see, here we have 30. So 32 is not lining up. 6 times 6 is 36. 36 happened, but this is going to be 40. Okay, the next one will be 48. We look at this, and 6 times 7 is 42. 6 times 8 is 48. Brother Rich was right. If these were planets, they all align at 24, and then again at 48. I'm trying to get you to see this is just an LCM problem, okay? So at the end of the day here, you're going to have to get 20, 28, and 34. 20, 28, and 34 to say, well, when will they all line up with each other, okay? Because it's time in this instance. So again, how do we find the least common multiple when we have three numbers. We prime factorize everything. So we pick two numbers, 2 times 10, 2 is prime, 2 times 5, circle, circle. We have 2 times 2 times 5. Here we could say 2 times 14, circle, 2 times 7, circle, circle, 2 times 2 times 7. Here we could have, again, 2 times what? 17. Is 17 a prime number? You fetch and betcha. That's a prime number, okay? And so we have 2 and 17, all right? So now we have the competition here, okay? So let's think about this. 2 appears here twice. It appears here twice. It appears here once. So that one's done, okay, because that's too low. These are a tie, so it counts twice. 5 appears here once, here 0, here 0. We count it once. 7 appears here once, here 0, here 0. We count it once. 17 appears here once, here 0, here 0. We count it once. So now we got to multiply all these out. So I'm going to rely on Marcus and Bell to calculate for me here. We definitely know 2 times 2 is 4. And 4 times 5 is 20. And 20 times 7 is 140. And 140 times 17. I'll let you do that one for me, Marcus.
2380.
2,380 seconds. Okay? So let's think about this for just a minute. So you're taking a multiple choice exam, and it's going to give you, 4 options with, different amounts. And one of them will be, in this instance, 2,380 seconds, and that would make the problem correct. Okay, let's go ahead and pause. Okay, guys, so again, it's not in my nature to go over every problem on a test, but usually just some of the challenging ones. But the fact that I wasn't here today and I want to make this worth your time, I want to just tell you a few other problems that are on the test. So those first few, all about LCMs. We went through the whole, Sylvia planet rotation problem. Okay, look up here. They're going to give you a fraction, like 100 over 320, and tell you to simplify it. Okay, I'm not going to do these problems with you. I'm going to just kind of help you understand. They're going to give you a problem like this. They're going to ask you to simplify it, okay? You got to bring this down into its simplest form. I might do this one with you real quick. I just can't resist, okay? Listen, they both end in 0, so we know they're both divisible by 10. We talked about that. So we ultimately have 10 times 10 over 32 times 10. The 10s are the big one, okay? You then have 10 over 32. They're both divisible by 2 because they're both even, which makes 2 times 5 over 2 times 16. The 2's cancel. You're left with 5/16. 5 is a prime number. 5 does not go into 16. That is your final answer. If you divided both those on a calculator, they should be the same. And so if you did that, you know you did it right, okay? Then they're going to give you some subtract and divide problems with fractions. So, for instance, they could have, 5/16 minus, 4/5. And you got to figure that out. Okay, you can use your calculator, the A, B over C button, okay? You can do it longhand, whatever you want, okay? What if you have the exact same problem, 5/16 divided by 4/5, okay? You could see a problem like that on there, okay? Again, we're not going to do these. And then they go through all the conversions that we learned. Decimal to a fraction, fraction to a decimal. So again, what if I have, 0.88 and I want that to become a fraction, okay? You got to go back. You got to review these concepts here, okay? You look at the last place value and you say, hey, that's the hundredths. This makes 88 over 100, okay? Pretty quick and slick stuff. Fraction to a decimal. So if I'm 5/8, okay? We talked about this. Divide on a calculator. Okay, that was you're thinking 5 divided by 8 equals 0.625. Okay? You can check my math on that if you'd like. Percent to decimal, decimal to percent. Again, if I have 52%, or if I have 0.251 and I want them to go back and forth, I'm not going to do these two. You move the decimal 2 places. You either add or lose the percent sign. Go review those concepts. And then fraction to percent and percent to fraction. Same kind of a concept here. What if I have 5/8 and I want it to equal a percent? Well, look up here. I just did 5/8 and I converted it to a decimal, and then from that decimal I can move that 2 places and call that 62.5%. That's actually the answer to this one right here. Percent diffraction. That, you know, we're just quickly reviewing. These are all of the conversions. You are going to see one of each one of these on there. Percent diffraction, same kind of a thing. If I have 27%, we talked about this. Percent means divided by 100, so that equals 27 over 100. I mean, boom. Okay, you're done with that. We talked about the Fresnel situation where maybe, you know, they have 27.1%, so that's going to equal 27.1 over 100. That makes a Fresnel, can't have it, doesn't exist. So we talked about that's in the tenths place, so we're going to multiply both these by 10 over 10, and this equals 271 over 1,000. Okay? You guys can see everything okay? I mean, it's clear on the board up here. Yeah? Gonna make sure the folks at home are good. Okay? Round to the nearest thousandth. What if I had a number like 123.4576? Okay? And I asked you to round to the nearest thousandth. Where is the thousandths place? Marcus, where's the thousandths place?
Right there.
The 1,000.
Right there.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No. Yeah. I got it. Stuff. Where's the thousandths? Remember, the TH means it's before or after the decimal. After the decimal. This is the tenths, hundredths, thousandths place right here. Look at the number to its right. It's in the round up category, so this becomes 123.45. Well, good night, I can't write. 458. Yeah, you got a problem like this, okay?
Oh, I see.
Bell and Marcus, they're like, what the fetch are you guys talking
I
about?
missed
It's been a
that.
We
while,
don't do
okay?
math.
They might have a subtraction of decimal problem. Like they might have 5.87 minus 2.112, okay? Calculator, people. Just put it in your calculator. This is easy, okay? I'm gagging because it's just like, if you take the time to do this longhand, shame on you. I mean, your calculator will do it for you and you got the right answer, okay? It's time for you to kick some A on this test. We're going to do a few more. Just pause it for just a second.
Okay.
All right, my fetchers, we are back. There are four, notice up here, there are 4 order of operations problems on the test. I'm not going to go over all 4 with you, but I'm picking 2 that I think are a little problematic, okay? And I want to make sure you're feeling good about them, okay? Let's do this first one on the left-hand side of the board. Let's first of all remember, what is the first step of the order of operations? Parentheses. The second, exponents. The third, we multiply or divide from left to right. And then we add or subtract from left to right. So we're going to put from L to R. Okay? Okay. If you're at home wondering, L to R, left to right. Okay? So let's look at this problem right here. This problem looks a little nasty. They start mixing in fractions and weird little things. So just take this one step at a time and handle this. So the first thing we do in the order of operations, according to that chart right there, is parentheses. Okay? So the order of ops. Okay? Is parentheses. So we're going to forget about the 200. We're going to forget about the third exponent, but we're going to do what's in the parentheses. Now, within the parenthetic world, we have to obey the order of operations. And so, you think about this, we have 1 plus 0.08 divided by 2. So, division comes before addition. So, we got to do this portion of the problem first, because it's a fraction, right? And fractions are division statements. So you need your calculator. We're going to take 0.08 and divide it by 2. Okay? Go ahead and tell me what's 0.08 divided by 2?
0.04.
It's 0.04, exactly. So now we have 1 plus 0.04. And when we add 1 plus 0.04, you can use your calculator for that one, but I think I can do this one without my calculator. I'm feeling pretty buff about this. 1.04. I got my math flex on. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So we got 1.04. So now let's think about this. All the other junk drops down. The 200, the parentheses, and you're like, I thought we got rid of parentheses. Let's hold off on that. And to the third power, okay? So we did what was inside the parentheses, but the parentheses is also indicating something. It's indicating that this parenthetic, problem, once it's reduced to one number, it is being taken to the third power. And then it's also indicating that, when nothing's written in between these two, multiplication is taking place. So we can't just get rid of the parentheses, even though we've accomplished everything that's inside of it, because there's things being done to it as well. So do we multiply by 200 or do the exponent to the third? Well, the order of operations tells us we took care of what was inside the parentheses. Now we're gonna do, because I'm not an English teacher, we're gonna do exponents, okay? And so we're gonna take 1.04 and we're gonna multiply it times itself and times itself a third time. 1.04 times 1.04 times 1.04. Now, if you know how to use your exponential function on your calculator, that would make this a little more expeditious, okay, in terms of expediting your answer. But you could just say 1.04 times 1.04 times 1.04. So, Marcus, what does 1.04 to the third yield us? Give us.
1.125.
1.125, okay? And that is still in parentheses because this 200 is being multiplied times it. Now, the only way to get rid of this parentheses would be to maybe draw a times sign, like a big dot, because we don't like the X, okay? But you don't have to. You could just leave the parentheses there, and it means multiply. This is a good problem to get you used to understanding how parentheses work in the order of operations. So now we multiply 200 because this is our last step, multiply or divide from left to right. There's no addition or subtraction left in this problem. So we multiply 200 times 1.125. I want to make one more comment though. Sometimes people say, but you added first, Brother Rich, and you do that last. Remember, we do what's inside the parentheses first. That's why we had to divide these, then add them. We had to get this part done all inside here. That took us to, this portion right here. We had to do all of this to get this answer of 1.04. Go ahead, 200 times 1.125. Tell us what it is, Marcus.
224.973, if you want that to the third.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And that is the correct answer. So good job. We did it right, all right? So you're going to have a problem like that on the test. And, what if we did a problem like this, and look up here. What if we did a problem like this, and the answer, look up here, in the... keep saying look up here. Like,
Keep
yeah,
looking.
and Marcus and Bell are like, huh? Huh?
Because we obviously don't know our
They're over there, they're like over there making out and like, stop it. Stop it, you two. Get a room,
Got
okay?
PTSD from class.
They're engaged. If they could just, finish this whole engagement thing, it'd be good, okay? What if one of the multiple choice options was 224.97, but you never saw 224.973? Would this be correct? Yes, it would. Because think about that. This rounds to that, okay? So you have to have that flexibility of recognizing this, okay? Because this actually is the calculation that you got, right? But they rounded it to this, and so this is actually the correct answer in the multiple choice options that you would have to pick. Let's go to the far right side of this board. So you had some problems like this in section R5. We never got to answer questions over R5, and so this is really interesting. This problem right here, number one, you do the top. Then number two, you do the bottom. Then number three, you place the answer to the top over the bottom. I try that every morning. It's better than putting your bottom over your top. That would be bass-ackward. You think about that one for a little bit. Top over the bottom, okay, and then you simplify, okay? Can you see this on the board all the way across?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
Simplify. So let's do the top. We have 2 times 3 plus 5 minus 2 times 3, okay? That's the top. Follow the order of operations. We do parentheses first. 3 plus 5 is 8, and 2 is being multiplied times it, so the 2 and the times, if you want to keep it in a parentheses, you can. You can. I'm going to do that just for kicks and giggles here. I'm going to show you. 2 times 8 minus 2 times 3. So I want you to understand, when we talk about parentheses, we're talking about doing what's inside the parentheses first, okay? That will now yield a multiplication problem, which comes later. Are there exponents? No, there are not in this. Is there multiplication and division? Yes, there is. 2 times 8 is 16. Minus comes down. 2 times 3 is 6. 16 minus 6 is 10. We have now done the top. Okay, so we're going to put the top over here. So we're going to say top equals 10 over the bottom. Okay, now we're going to do the bottom. Okay, so the bottom, okay, so here was the top. Here's the bottom. The bottom is 4 squared minus 2 squared. Okay, do we have parentheses? No. Do we have exponents? We do. So we have 4 squared, which is 16. Okay, listen, this is really important. The minus comes down, okay? And we have 2 squared, which is 4. I want you to understand this, okay? 16 minus 4 is 12. I'm going to come back to this in just a second. So now that's the bottom, so we have 10 over 12. And now we need to simplify that. 10 over 12 reduces. Okay, they're both divisible by 2, so we have 2 times 5 over 2 times 6. Okay, the 2's cancel, and we're left with 5/6, and that is my final answer. Is that what you guys got? I hope so. You can practice these at home and see if you can get them right. But this answer is indeed 5/6. Is that what you got, Belle?
That's what I got, yeah.
Marcus, they did too. Okay. I want to come back to this concept right here of 4 squared minus 2 squared. I want to talk about this. Negative 2 squared versus negative 2 squared. Okay? So, because this is in parentheses, the exponent affects everything it touches. Well, it's touching the parentheses. And everything in the parentheses is a negative. So this ends up being negative 2 times negative 2, which makes positive 4. The only thing that the exponent is touching in this problem is the 2. So the negative comes along for the ride. This is 2 times 2, which is 4. So you see, we kind of have this little thing here. Negative 2 squared is negative 4. Parentheses negative 2 squared is positive 4. I want you to put that in your notes. It's a really powerful tool. Okay? Okay, we need to pause this. We're going to do a couple more, and we will be done. Okay, folks, so to wrap up the chapter, we went over a few geometric shapes and their formulas. And there are about 4 geometry problems on the test. I'm looking 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, 4 problems. And for the most part, they give you a shape, okay, and like a circle or a triangle, and they ask you to find, the area or, the circumference of a circle or the area of, a triangle. And you have to have the area of a triangle memorized, but they definitely let you know the formulas for the circle. We've talked about all of that, the ones you have to memorize. Just a quick reminder, you do need to memorize that the area of a rectangle equals length times width. The perimeter of a rectangle equals 2L plus 2W. The area of a triangle equals 1/2 BH. The perimeter of a triangle equals side 1 plus side 2 plus side 3. Pi equals 3.14. And angle 1 plus angle 2 plus angle 3 equals 180 degrees. Those are the 5 you need to memorize, okay? Gone. Everything else will be given to you on the test. Well, we have 2 problems on the test, and people, they say, well, those are word problems. Word problems are really nasty. These are baby nasties, okay? They're not really that nasty, okay? They're pretty docile. If you don't know what that word means, it means whatever the fetch. They're not bad, okay? All right, but these 2 problems, they require you to understand a couple things. And we played this game in class. I said, hey, if we're going to lay sod in our yard, are we talking about area or perimeter? And you guys said area. So we're going to put up a fence in our yard, we're talking about area or perimeter. You said perimeter. And so you have to play that, angle on these tests, okay? So let's do this first problem. What will it cost, okay, so we want to know, at the end, we want to know cost, to purchase grass sod. Notice that it would be funny if they just said, what would it cost to purchase grass? Funny, okay? What would it cost to purchase grass sod for a rectangular garden with a length of 38 feet and a width of 35 feet? So we have a rectangular garden, okay? And they're telling us that we have a length of 38 feet and we have a width of 35 feet. And then they tell us what the sod costs. So if we're going to lay sod, right, that's grass, okay? And sometimes the word sod confuses some of my foreign students, okay? So it's putting grass, pesto, is it pasta, pesto, in
I don't
Espanol?
know in Spanish.
Yeah,
Portuguese.
You're Portuguese, you crazy man. Okay. Anyways, and so we're gonna lay some grass, you know, and they come out in rolls. And we're gonna lay it all across here. So again, we're laying this all across our backyard here in this rectangular thing, and we roll it all out, and we need to know how many square feet of sod we have. So first of all, do we want to find the area or the perimeter of this rectangle? Well, it's the area because it's all the interior measurements, not the exterior measurement. So we're going to take area equals length times width, therefore area equals 38 times 35. What is 38 times 35? Help me, Obi-Wan. You're my only hope.
1,330.
1,330 feet squared, right? Because we had feet times feet, right? Now, I'm going to tell you that if you're taking a multiple choice test, they're going to put that answer on the test, and it will be wrong. Even though this is correct that it is the area of this, they didn't ask us for the area, they asked us for the cost to put all this sod in this area, and they're telling us, hey, it's 69 cents per square foot, and so we multiply this times 0.69, and that will give us our final cost. So what's 1,330 times 0.69?
917.7.
917.70?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, so we got 917.7, and you know, when we talk about dollars and cents, we would put a zero there. So it's $917.70. This is a cool problem because it's very, very accurate to things we do in the real world in purchasing, you know, in our futures, in our homes, and in our lives, okay? Good job. That one is correct. Let's do the next one. So what will it cost to buy fencing to go around a rectangular garden with a length of 42 feet and a width of 34 feet? So again, we have a rectangle. Okay, again we have a rectangle. This time the length is 42 feet and the width is 34 feet. That's a 3 right there, okay? And are we going to multiply these two this time? Well, we want to put fencing up. So we put the fencing, let's think about that. Where do we put fencing? All in the interior or around the perimeter, right? Well, it's around the perimeter. So we're going to put fencing here and here and here and here. And so we need the perimeter. And the perimeter equals, P equals 2L plus 2W. Therefore, P will equal 2 times 42 plus 2 times 34. Marcus, what's 2 times 42?
84.
It's 84. What's 2 times 34?
68.
It's 68. Bell,
Yes.
84 plus 68. We'll give you the harder stuff because we know girls rock and you will give us the right answer here. This is going to be 152.
Yes.
Okay, so this is 152 linear feet, not square feet, because we're just adding feet, 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 plus feet, plus feet, plus feet, right? Okay, we're not multiplying feet times feet like we did in the area. Now, multiple choice test, do you think that they'll list this as one of the correct options, or one of the options to choose from? Yes. Is it correct? No. It's correct that it is the perimeter of this shape, but again, they're asking us for cost to put the fence around. And they're telling us that it costs $2.19 per linear foot. So we're going to multiply this times 2.19. So let's go ahead, Marcus, could you do 152 times 2.19? And what do you get?
Yeah, 332.88.
Okay, it's going to cost you $332.88 to put this fencing up around your garden. The cost to put the grass down over here was $917.70. Okay, just want to double check. 332 you said, 0.88. Very good.
We're at
Okay.
23 minutes, by the way.
Guys, gals, good luck on this test. This constitutes our full review, and I have great confidence in you. Study hard. I'll see you Monday.